Hello there, and welcome to the Nerd Run, the place where two mates from Sydney, Australia come together to talk about our pop culture interests and collections. Today you join us as we geek out on the Hydra Stomper, the Captain Carter, or it's Hydra Stomper and Steve Rogers, correct?
Steve Rogers.
And the Captain Carter Hot Toys. What scale are we looking at here, Jono?
1/6 scale?
1/6 scale figures, and we're also going to...
I always get lost on scale.
No, it is 1/6 scale, I just had a look. And we're also going to talk about the Star Wars retro cartoon-inspired droid figures that came out. So let's start with these Hot Toys. Do you know when Hot Toys started?
I don't remember when Hot Toys started, but I do have a personal story that I can share for everybody. The first Hot Toys figure that I bought was with you.
Really?
And yeah, so we were visiting. I only own one Hot Toys figure, so there we go. Although my second one is on its way. So this is gonna be a fun start to the story. The first one I bought was from a little store that we love to frequent here in Sydney called Anime at Abbotsford.
Beautiful store, best store in Australia.
Beautiful store. And for everyone who's listening, we get no money from anybody. So
no.
I do today is because we love it.
Yeah.
Anyway, they had. This is the first time I saw it. They had the Iron Man Tony Stark from the first movie. He's the third armor, so the one that he ends the movie with.
Yep.
There, and I think I was between things, and nothing was going on for me at the time. I was having a bit of a casual time, and I was there with you. We're looking at these figures, and I just went, bugger, I'm blown. What, $300+ on this figure, and I don't regret it. It's still on display here in my lounge room.
It's beautiful.
But here comes the best bit. A couple of years ago now, I think it was May 2019, just before that, they announced the Hot Toys Captain America's Endgame figure. So it's Cap that came with a broken shield as well as a full shield and Mjolnir, Thor's hammer, to replicate the end of Endgame. And I turned to my partner and said to her, look, I think this is going to be the perfect bookend to, I've got, Iron Man from the first movie, and then I'm going to have Captain America from the last of the, Infinity Saga. And she went, all right, go for it. So I ordered that all that time ago. It only just came into stock now. And so this is, 2022?
Far out.
I ordered this 2019. So I've been waiting very patiently, but it's hopefully on its way very soon. From Pop Culture, there's another free plug to good old Pop Culture.
And another great Aussie store as well.
Another great Aussie store. So if you're looking for cool stuff, those two stores are awesome. But what we're looking at today is, like you said, the Hot Toys Hydra Stomper with Steve Rogers, and announced just before that was Captain Carter. So these are both from What If.
And the funny thing is, so we recently did a What If episode where we looked at the Marvel Legends, the Watcher series, correct?
The Watcher Builder Figure Wave, yeah.
That's the one.
Yeah.
And when we got to the Hydra Stomper as the kind of deluxe figure in the range, or kind of supplemented the range, we were saying how wouldn't it be nice if you could get Steve Rogers inside it? And of course, with the scale of that other figure, it doesn't work. But
yeah,
everyone's dream has come true right here. So this actually does that exact thing. So tell us a little bit about what some of the big features of this beautiful package are.
Well, you can put Steve Rogers. Actually, you can open up. You put Steve Rogers in, but what's really cool about it is the chest lights up. The eyes light up, so you got the arc reactor lighting up. He's got posability in his shoulders, in his waist, and in his head, so that you can get that flying pose. I think the legs are fixed, and when we look at the size of this figure and how big it would be and how much weight, when you look at the way Hot Toys builds their stuff, I'm not surprised there's not much in the way of posability in legs, but it doesn't affect the look at all. In fact, it still looks great if you had it in a flight pose, which takes us to Captain Carter. Because Captain Carter will fit on the back, holding onto that handle. She's even got stirrups. If you look at the back of the Hydra Stomper to stand in there, it's an amazing looking figure.
She looks incredible.
Amazing.
Yeah, and we said that in the last range as well. In that the Legends range, that she was our favorite figure there. They've just really got the mold perfect. Like the hair, that there's two head pieces.
Two hairstyles.
So two hairstyles. One's, I guess, maybe the wind's blowing a little bit more.
She's on the back of the Hydra Stomper.
I really like that's a really nice touch. But the posability of these figures is incredible. Like just the way that
Hot Toys is amazing.
Yeah, the way that Steve Rogers just is posed with his hand on his hip in one of the pictures, and then where he's in the cockpit with his arms on top. Like it really does if you were looking at like with your eyes squinted just a tiny bit, you could think this is like cosplay pictures or something.
Yeah.
It's phenomenal. And like with the fabric on the figures, like is it a fabric jacket it looks like
Yeah,
he's wearing?
both figures, both Captain Carter and Steve Rogers have fabric outfits that have been stitched. That's what I'm actually looking forward to, the Endgame cap that's coming to me soon. Same thing goes there. So yeah, like they go to a lot of detail. If anyone who's a fan of the Hot Toys figures, and I get it, they're expensive, and so you're buying them to put them in a display case, but probably not to really play with them, which I think is the nice thing between the Marvel Legends we've talked about in the past and Hot Toys. Two completely different markets, unless you're a sucker like me. But yeah, they've got that posability and that look and that feel that just absolutely spectacular. They come with enough hands. You see, Captain Carter comes with like a sword from that episode, which she used only at the end, and a pistol that she was carrying, and you've got different hands to hold all those things and give her different poses. And she's of course got her shield with the Union Jack on it. So yeah, amazing figures. Definitely recommend them. If you've never looked at Hot Toys before, definitely look up their Iron Man range. The one thing that is still on my ultimate wish list, but I'll probably never own, was the War Machine from Iron Man 2, because that thing was a thing of beauty. And by that point in time, Hot Toys has shifted from plastic for the Iron Man figures to die-cast metal. It was
Wow.
insane. They were actually metal figures. Yeah, which also meant that their prices doubled. But
And how big is this thing, Jono? Like how big is the Hydra Stomper?
56 centimeters. It's huge.
That is a
In
big
fact, we were
boy.
compare it to the recently released HasLab Sentinel, which stands at 66.9 centimeters tall. This
Wow.
thing is just under it, but I think bulk wise is a lot more weight
Yeah.
there.
It's a
Yeah.
beautiful figure. And yeah,
Oh,
I think they've again knocked it out of the park here. The Hot Toys. I looked it up. Founded in 2000, very much a name of the end of the 90s, 2000 Hot Toys. But
yeah.
let's move over, shift gears completely to these Star Wars droids figures that have just been announced. And you were saying to me before we started recording, because look, there's an R2D2 here, so I definitely want this. This falls under my
Yeah.
my ideal of weird
Hey, this is two of
R2D2s.
our favorite topics, Marvel and Star Wars. What can you ask for?
But these are a Target exclusive in the US, so I'm going to have a bit
Yes.
of a hard time finding them here in Australia. But I think it was Zavi I was saying
You'll get it on
before.
eBay, but for a bit. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll try and find it a bit more reasonably priced. But these are based on the was it 80s cartoon kind of
Yeah.
style show at the time, where they had figures that looked packaging that looked exactly like this, figures that looked very stylish in terms of that kind of
Yeah.
animated style. And Jono, that I collect the Star Wars and Gentle Giant animated statues. So I've got quite a
Yes.
few of them. And I just love the kind of alternate takes, like the Star Wars Vision show at the moment on classic characters and
I've just
things.
started. I'm going to keep going through that. It's
It
fantastic.
is,
So much better than I expected.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's brilliant. But what you see here, like I said, it's very much retro inspired, but the figures themselves are just a little bit different to those original ones. So the
Yeah.
packaging is almost identical. You've got the gold coin. So these gold
Yep.
coins were a big thing. I think in the original kind of, what was it, Power of the Force range a long time
Yes.
ago, there was
I do remember the coins.
yep,
Yeah.
they came up again in the 30th anniversary Star Wars figures as well. So they brought back the coins, and they've been in the more recent Power of the Force range. In the end of the 90s, they were kind of like
Yes.
some deluxe packaging ones. There's probably been quite a few other times when they've done this. I know there's been other droids things at certain
Yeah.
conventions and whatnot, but I love that they've brought the coin back. It really does give it that retro
Yeah.
kind of feel. And I love that they're not always doing that. Like that isn't just kind of a thing in these figures forever. It comes and goes and it makes it a little bit more special. But this
Yeah.
R2, like I'm going to start with the R2 because it's my favorite.
Yeah.
It
I don't blame you.
looks a lot more like the R2 in the movies than it does the R2 in the Star Wars cartoon. And
Yeah.
the original Star Wars droid, as you can see in the pictures, it's got that big red eye, where this one is that classic dome look. And it's got a
Yeah.
little opening panel at the front. The little sensor scope thing goes up at the top as well. It's a really nice figure in that way. And then you've got 3PO as well, who, yeah, in the cartoon, really kind of could move in lots of different ways that he could never move in the movies.
Yeah.
Which, of course, it's a cartoon; they can do what they like. But I really love that blue kind of shining through underneath in the parts. But then you
Looks
get
fantastic.
to the Boba Fett. Now, the Boba Fett, I'm sure, is going to be the most sought after one. And there's two Boba Fetts here.
There
So
is.
we've got. Yeah, you want to tell us about them?
Well, I just thought it was interesting that the three figures you've talked about so far, the first three, are all 3.75 inch scale.
Yep.
So, your classic Star Wars size, which is really cool. In fact, as much as you're mentioning everything about the packaging, I love that it's still branded with Kenner on it because Hasbro's owned Kenner forever. They were competing with them over the years. Back in the 80s, the whole reason Hasbro put out G.I. Joe was to combat Star Wars because they were all the same sort of scale, but they had to outdo them in every way with more flexibility and posability and all that sort of stuff. But what a fun little fact, when Hasbro bought Kenner, the first thing they gave Kenner to do was take over Transformers. We'll get back to that in another episode because I love Transformers and want to talk about it more, but I love that Kenner's on the packaging. But you're right. I also love that they're doing Boba Fett in the Black Series scale as well. So there's a Black Series 6-inch figure coming out as well because I love 3 3.75 inch figures, but I've got to say, having some Black Series figures alongside my Marvel Legends figures and the new G.I. Joe classified series has been fantastic. So I'm really torn. They all look really cool. Do you like the colors of that Boba? Because that was the one from the holiday special coloring wise, isn't it? Does that match that?
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
And there's an animated Gentle Giant figure. There's three of the Boba Fetts. I've only got the black and white one of him, but it's probably of all of them my favorite. It just looks so beautiful. But
Yeah.
I actually think both of these Boba Fett figures look incredible. I know
They do.
though, with it in your hand, that the Black Series figures are much better than the
Yeah.
smaller ones. But yeah, I think it's the Black Series one. Really nice articulation.
Yeah.
The color scheme, it makes it stand out from the other ones, and they've been doing that a lot with Boba Fett lately. There was a kind of rainbow wave that they had with the Boba Fett there as well recently, which was kind of the more retro style with the kind of not being able to move and whatnot. But yeah, I think this is a really cool one, and I've seen this as cosplay as well, and it works.
Yes.
This style. This style works because originally Boba Fett was going to be white, like or white or really light grey. But I think this kind of color version here is another cool one, different to what we see nowadays.
So the R2s are definite, but the rest you're probably going to pass on?
Yeah, I'll pass on the rest, but the R2, I honestly think I would like to get 2 of these. One, obviously, to open because my R2s are all opened. But I just love that packaging so much. I really would like to
nice.
just kind of leave it there. But maybe one day, I can get an actual original of the droids. We'll see.
Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed.
Cool.
Exactly.
Well, thank you for coming on a nerd run with us. Of course, we'd love a like and subscribe, but yeah, we just love doing this. So hope to see you next time.
See you next time.